if I can start with the agenda to go over with you, I am going to hopefully rather quickly go through the hollering with you. We have one more time to update it. That's the satisfaction survey that we do. And we want to review it with you every quarter. So we have one more quarter to go. And hopefully it gets shorter and shorter and shorter. That's the idea, because we've hopefully resolved concerns. I will be followed by Felipe Hernandez. He is our fire chief. Judy Hansen's going to talk to you from resident council. Bill Sargent is going to talk to you about the Employee Appreciation Fund, which I hear is doing phenomenally well. Bruce will give you a chapel update, and then Andrew's going to give you the facilities update. And this is based on, if you recall, about 3 weeks ago, I sent you a letter after the semi-annual meeting, just about our infrastructure, and some of the suggestions we talked about was a more complete update monthly from Andrew, and I think the last one that he did was unbelievably fantastic. Yeah, thank you. Clap, clap, clap. Yeah. And also that Andrew would talk to you briefly at every town hall meeting, just to so you can know the progress, because there's a lot of work being done. So we just need to make sure we communicate that to you. So without further ado, who has a mission moment? Well, let me start here because you're closer. I'll be right back, Caroline. Is it on? Yep, just close to your mouth.
Okay. This actually just happened. We went to visit a friend today who's in hospice on the 5th floor, and I was just struck how beautifully she was being treated by the staff and how clean everything was and how comfortable the staff was making us under a very difficult situation. And I was just really felt very, very good about it, and I thought it was great. I really do.
Thank you. And you're referring to the small houses, 5th floor of the small houses. Thank you very much. Caroline?
I want to shout out to Joaquin. On Monday, I was disappointed that my tuna en croissant came without a croissant, so I filed a little note on Uniguest in the comments, and within 20 minutes, I had 2 croissants up in my apartment. So, thank you, Joaquin.
Now everyone knows what to do to get a free croissant. Anyone else?
I just wanted to say that the remembrance service yesterday was just wonderful, beautifully done.
Yeah, thank you. Bruce was the talk in our directors meeting today. He was getting all the kudos and all the mission moments from the directors. It was it was very good. Thank you, Bruce. Okay, any rumors that I can bust? Anyone wants to bring up? No rumors, no mythbusters. All right. Then the next is the Hollerin' survey. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Here we go. He's going the wrong way, as usual. This, again, I want to remind you, is based on the survey, the satisfaction survey that you did. One of the issues was with dining and ordering, and dining has been training their team on the new tablets. They did just get some new tablets, brand new tablets, that they're using at the tables to take orders. So hopefully we have that resolved, because we have that down as completed. So you speak up if you think we still have concerns. Next is residents had stated it would be nice to have a friendship table. We did try that. They tested it for a few months. It just didn't take. So we stopped the friendship table. Worth a try. It just didn't work here. Residents had asked for another vegetable lunch and dinner. That's been done. Dining's been tracking the success on the Volante system, and it is showing that it has been successful. So they now are offering 2 options for vegetables for lunch and dinner. Communication between the reception desk and housekeeping, and that's basically, when residents go on leave, that they communicate with each other. So they have stepped that up and they're monitoring it daily between the reception desk and environmental services, and they communicate daily via the radio. So we believe that has been resolved also. I'm looking around to see if anyone's making faces like. Better weekly cleaning in apartments. The team does have a list that they go by. They have upped the training with the team. They do meet on a daily basis. And also the team leads and Anna do weekly random inspections in various apartments to make sure what the team's supposed to clean in your apartment, in fact, is getting cleaned. So they're not checking every single apartment, it's random. Time to respond to resident calls, and this was basically, I think, a resident that was on isolation. When you call to get, your trash picked up. So they are reviewing their calls early and responding to residents and doing a follow-up to make sure it's resolved. Assure, I gotta fix that. Assure is spelled wrong. Assure elevators work reliably. You know what we've been going through. We talk about it frequently. Unfortunately, the plan that we had has not worked out well with Otis, weekly calls and such, and using the company VDA, who's been very, very helpful towards us. So we did cancel the contract with Otis. They were sent a letter. We're in the process. We did find a new company. We reviewed 3 different companies. We are going with a company called DMV. We hope to begin with them approximately December 30. And I say that just because you never know when there's a contract cancellation, but that is our goal, to start with this new company December 30. And it's a local company. They've been in business over 30 years. So here's hoping. We think it's going to go much better. Improve the humidity. And actually, the next town hall, I want it to say completed, that everyone's satisfied, we're moving forward. So time to respond. Oops, did I go? Okay. Improve humidity levels in each of the buildings in the community. It has taken a while, I will agree, because we had to do a whole study of our systems here. But basically, Tower B, that should be completed by November 30. Tower A, Tower B's the tower. Tower A's the original building, and the small house should be completed by December 30. So your humidity should be much better. A vigorous and clear response to maintenance requests, and Andrew and his team review this daily. They have a daily huddle. They review daily to make sure that the work orders are getting done on a timely basis, and consistently they're tracking 0 overdue orders. Improve water for consistent pressure and control. Repairs have been done to stabilize the hot water delivery in both the original building and the tower. And sorry, I'm getting having trouble talking. And in the 26 capital budget, we budgeted for design to upgrade and approve the system by May 30. Oh, you're so good. Right on cue. Thank you so much. She even opened it for me. What does it mean to stabilize, Andrew?
There are some repairs substantial amount of repairs. That was pointed out from the FCA assessment, the facilities condition assessment. It was quite an extensive report. So based on that, we've been able to. Okay, we'll start over. So the repairs being stabilized means that we completed a substantial amount of repairs. These repairs were, includes rusted pipes to faulty valves, things that were all contributing to some of the inconsistency in the delivery. And the hot water is on today, it's out tomorrow, and all the shutdowns and things we're doing. The repairs, which did cost us quite some money, but that's going to hold us now through the whole design process, construction, and until we can commission the new system to be online. So that was necessary and needed to be done. But that's what we mean by stabilize.
So is the hot water delivery in the tower supposed to be coming faster?
Yes, is the hot water delivery in the tower coming faster? No, from what we get it to where it's supposed to be according to the original design. So it's set at a certain pressure, and the regulators that keeps that pressure, some of them were faulty. So we've repaired those regulators. We've also done a lot and completed a lot of piping, a lot of rust and decayed piping, insulation, so many things. I mean, I can go on and on, but we've spent a substantial amount of money in repairs. That's supposed to guarantee the system to at least function close to what it was designed. But the main culprit is the hot water heater itself, which is due for replacement. So that's one of the main systems that we are replacing. A much more efficient one is going to come in, much more reliable, that meets current codes. And with that is going to be a whole new mixing station that actually supposed to maintain the temperature at a better delivery for you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Plus, you're going to get Andrew at the end of the day for more questions because he's on our agenda. I wanted to introduce our fire chief, Felipe Hernandez, who's here. Felipe is the Fire and Emergency Medical Services Chief for the City of Alexandria. He became the first Latino to hold the position in the city's history and began his new job over a year ago on July 8th, 2024. He leads the Alexandria Fire Department and Emergency Medical Services, and he comes to Alexandria with 25 years of experience in fire service, previously serving as fire chief for the city of Rochester, New York. Yay, upstate New York. Where he oversaw a department of 482 sworn and 24 civilian personnel. He most recently served as a superintendent of the New York State Academy of Fire Science. He's a chief fire officer designated by the Commission on Professional Credentialing and a national emergency medical technician with additional certifications in fire officer instruction, health, and incident safety. He has a master's degree from Nazareth College and a bachelor's degree from State University of New York, Brockport. So welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor and pleasure to be here. As mentioned, I come from Rochester, New York, and the good news is it snowed there already a couple of inches, and I don't have to deal with that, right? So I'm happy to be a resident of the Alexandria area. Glad to be your fire chief. I was here, I believe, about 8 months ago. They're my first time. So this is my second time coming back here, which I'm excited about being back here. So a little bit about the Alexandria Fire Department, for those that are not familiar. We do have 9 stations within the city. On duty, we have 9 engines, 3 trucks, 2 battalion chiefs, and we have 6 transport units for EMS. This is a department that does both EMS and fire. So we handle the transport, and we also handle the emergency medical care. Now, one of the questions I always ask is, why does a fire truck come when there's a medical call? Thank you. One of the reasons for that is for 2 reasons. Sometimes the fire truck is going to get there faster, so seconds count. So we want to make sure that you're getting the most appropriate care as soon as possible. But also, the fire truck also has paramedics on it as well. So it's not about response time, but also to give you additional proper care as needed. There are some types of medical call that require more than just 2 people. So we also want to make sure that we have enough staff, depending on the type of call, to make sure that you're getting the appropriate care. So that's why that happens. I will mention that EMS is a big part of the fire department. About 73% of our call volume is medical calls. So it's something that we take very seriously. We are currently evaluating our EMS response just to make sure that we're being efficient and that our resources are appropriate to the need of the city of Alexandria. In regards to fire response, we're kind of at the edge of the city line, but I would share with you that if there is a fire emergency, and also in a medical emergency, it's not just going to be the Alexandria Fire Department that responds. One great thing about this area, probably since 9/11, is we have what's called a borderless mutual aid system. We actually send the closest fire unit to the call, whether it's Alexandria, Arlington, Fairfax. We're going to send the closest unit, which is good for you guys because it means you don't have to wait for units coming further down. So I bring that in case there is a medical call here or a fire call, and you see Fairfax or it says Arlington, now you know why. It's because we're sending the closest unit to make sure you get the help as soon as possible, okay? Other questions that normally I'm used to, obviously this is a high-rise building, so there's usually concerns about the fact of, what if there's a fire? Are they gonna be able to come and get me, right? Of course we will. I mean, obviously Alexandria has a lot of high-rise buildings, so we are trained in dealing with those types of emergencies and helping you escape and get out as soon as possible. We do send the appropriate resources when the call comes in. So obviously it's important if you ever call 911 to give them the most specific information needed so we can make the appropriate response and send the equipment that's needed to handle the emergency. But we do send a lot of units because obviously a high-rise incident does require a lot of people. So we know that ahead in time, so you're definitely gonna get the appropriate resources needed for us to mitigate any type of situation. Sometimes people wonder, well, what about the ladder truck, right? Is the ladder truck gonna be able to reach me? That type of rescue is only a small portion of our tactics. If anything, we prefer bringing you safely within the stairs, which is more safely doing than trying to bring you down a ladder truck, okay? And even for me, I'd rather come down the stairs if you ask me, so. But the ladder truck is still gonna come because they do have specialized equipment, so we're gonna need them there. But hopefully, we're gonna use the interior of the stairs if for some reason we have to remove you. But with that being said, though, it's also important that you follow your policies here and are up to date with your evacuation plan, because that's gonna help us coordinate together to make sure that we know where you're at, we know where to come get you, and that you know what you need to do when something happens. So I do ask that you also do your part as well in making sure that you're up to date with your plans and you know what to do in case there's an emergency, okay? Other than that, let me see here. Other question I usually get in regards to who do we call if there's a situation, a fire code situation, a concern with the elevator. Obviously, you do have a maintenance staff here, right? So you definitely want to coordinate with them because depending on the situation, depends on who's gonna come. If it's a cold question, the fire alarm, it's the fire department. If it's an issue with the elevator, it's gonna be the city. If it has to do with the kitchen or the food, that's the health department. So once again, make sure you coordinate with your staff and maintenance, and they'll ensure that the appropriate inspector that's needed is gonna come and help you as well, okay? Let's see, what else? Other than that, like I said, we're pretty proactive around here. We do offer services as well. If there's any type of training or questions you have, we'll be more than happy to come out and work with you guys. I believe there's some question in regards about some extinguisher question that we're gonna be working with maintenance. an opportunity to work together and train. So we're definitely willing to come out. Anytime you need us, we're here for you anytime, okay? Other than that, those are some of just the main highlights of some of the things that we do in the fire department. Just so that you're aware, we just don't do fire and medical call. We also have what's called the Office of Emergency Management, which obviously if there's some type of hurricane or earthquake or some type of disaster, that office is gonna help manage those type of situations. For example, if we had a situation here and God forbid we have to move some people out, we're actually gonna use that office and their expertise to help us coordinate those types of efforts. As I mentioned also, we also do fire investigation. If there's a type of fire situation, we're gonna use those individuals to help determine the cause of the fire as well. And other than that, we're out in the community a lot. Actually, we usually come here for National Night Out, for example. So once again, if there's any opportunity to work with you guys, we'll be more than happy to participate. So those are just some of the main highlights of some of the things. I mean, I want this to be more of an interaction with you guys, because I'm sure some of you are gonna have specific questions for me, but I just wanted to cover at least some of the main questions that are typically asked of me when I come to these. So with that being said, who has a question for me? Yes, and she's coming with the mic. He's already laughing. I don't know if this is gonna be good to me.
Do you have the staffing and resources that you need to carry out your missions?
Thank you. That's an excellent question. I could always use more. I'm never gonna lie. I could always use more staffing, but we are appropriately staffed. Yes, and that's why I mentioned too. What's nice about this area is that it's borderless. So when we're busy, Arlington and Fairfax will come and help us, and we also do the same to them as well. So we're definitely staffed. We have the appropriate equipment. And we're always evaluating that as well. If there's a specific need, we'll definitely work with the city manager and the council to make sure we get the appropriate resources. Yes, Bill.
Could you get the fire marshal to come here and explain to us about the fire alarm system? I'm sure I'm going to talk for several people about the fire alarm ringing for 15 or 20 minutes before it's shut down.
Yes, I mean, I could do that, but I could answer that. I mean, unfortunately, that is part of the code requirement. I know it's annoying, but when you have a facility this loud, unfortunately, we have to keep it going to make sure everyone's aware and evacuated. And unfortunately, it takes us, the fire department, the ability to have to make sure that we could give the all clear to turn it off.
We know that you need to alert everybody, but everybody in this building here is alerted because there's an alarm system in each apartment, the hallways, common areas. So 15 or 20 minutes is pretty excessive.
Understood, but when you have to check the entire building, 15 minutes is actually not enough time for us.
But there's keys in the fire alarm office to identify where the alarm is coming from.
Right, but we still have to make sure that people are still evacuated and checked out. Yes, I understand that.
That's
but
just it. We don't have to evacuate according to our guidance here. We're to remain in our apartments.
Understood, yes. What I'm saying is the fire department still needs to come here, give us time to arrive, and then we make the determination when we could shut it off. But yes, and that's usually a common concern. Like I said, I could follow up with the fire marshal on that one, because I know that the sound is concerning when it comes to that, so it's understandable. But I would say at least it's not done on purpose. Like we're not doing it because we want to annoy you. I mean, let's be honest. It's not being done on purpose. It's unfortunately it's part of it. I'll share with you a story. I was at Wegmans on Stowell Drive last week, and the alarm went off in Wegmans, and I thought there was something in Wegmans, and it wasn't. It was the building, the apartment building. But since the whole block is connected, everything goes off, right? So yes, does that sound like that makes sense? Be honest, I don't know, right? But at the end of the day, that's how it works. Since everything's connected, everything has to go off. So I am aware that it's annoying. I could talk to the fire marshal about that time frame wise, but part of it is to wait for us to get here because we make the determination when to turn it off. So like I said, I know it's annoying, I apologize, but like I said, it's for good intentions to make sure everyone's aware of the situation at that point. Because even if you have the stage in place, but we still want to make sure you're aware that something is happening. Any other questions? That's it, okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming. Judy.
Good afternoon. As many of you know, I'm chair of the Residents' Council. I was chair, and I'm continuing as chair for another year, thanks to the decision of the Residents' Council. And because we have some new members and because we have some new residents, I thought this was an appropriate time for each of us to do a brief introduction to ourselves so you can match some names and faces and perhaps some other connections. I've been here for a little over 4 years with my husband, John, and I've been on the Residents' Council. This is my 4th year. I'm also a liaison to the Grounds Committee as well as a member of the Grounds Committee. So I would, and a goal I have, and I asked each resident council to mention a goal that they may have for their tenure, and one of my goals is to strengthen our standing committees. Now today, I had hoped to also introduce Irma Cannon and Lori Manning, but they're at a meeting of the Goodwin Living Foundation, so I will introduce those individuals to you in December. But I'd like to start with Ken. Is he here? Oh, okay. He did not tell me he was not going to be here today. Aha. Okay. All right. Randy, can you come forward? Randy is one of our new members of the Resident Council.
Good afternoon. I'm Randy Garber. I've lived at Goodwin House for 21 months. I am a veteran member of the Residents' Council since November 1st of this year, so 3 weeks. I'm chairman of the Finance Committee and the liaison to the Communications Committee. And my goal would be simply to do whatever I can to try to contribute to sustaining and improving the well-being experience and quality of life for all of us. And a plea as a Finance Committee chair, we're looking for a vice chairman. If you're so inclined and love managerial finance, please come and talk to me.
Thank you, Randy. Susan?
Hello, I'm Susan Kernan, and I'm the chairman of the dining committee, but also the liaison to the dining committee. I've lived here for close to 6 years. It's about the fastest 6 years I'd ever imagined. It seems like it was yesterday, but not. I've been on the Residents' Council about 2.5 years. And have enjoyed it. And Judy asked me to say what was my goal. Well, it varies from day to day, but and from issue to issue. But I have to say that the main purpose of my purpose and purpose of the committee is to facilitate communication and cooperation between the residents and the dining team. And we have a wonderful dining team. They participate in everything that we do, including the monthly meetings. There are so many of them there. So, and I'll invite any of you that would like to come and sit through a meeting. You are certainly welcome. I would ask you, if you can, to let me know ahead of time that you're coming, because space is an issue. and I don't want anybody to show up and get turned away. So let me know, but thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Lee?
I'm Lee Dreyfus. We moved here in the, we moved here, my husband and I, in September of 2022. And I don't know where the time has gone, but it's great. I guess about a year after we moved in, I was asked to join the Residence Council, and I really enjoyed being there. I worked with the Spiritual Life Committee for 1 year, and now I've moved on to facilities, and I'm in my second year with that. And I think it's fascinating to know what's going on. I guess my goal is to find out what people need, and I love it. I was just walking down here, and someone had a comment about a concern, and it's wonderful to be able to pass that on to other people and try to resolve the problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. Carl?
Hi, my name is Carl Van Newkirk. I've lived here for about 4 years now, been on the resident council for 2, and I'm currently the liaison officer to the Finance Committee, and you have heard from the chair of the Finance Committee a couple minutes ago. And my feeling is that a lot of people don't know much about finance, but you'll sleep better at night if you think that things are in good shape. And so our job on the Finance Committee, it seems to me, is to try to give you the information so that you will sleep well at night.
Thanks, Carl. Sarah?
I'm Sarah Fine. I've lived here 5 years. I've been on the Residence Council for 3, and I am chair and liaison to the Health Services Committee. My goal would be to continue the fabulous work of the committee and facilitating communication between residents and any of the health services, which includes the clinic, the small houses, the assisted living. And we also do various projects that we think will benefit residents. For example, we helped with the blood drive, and we have a project for getting volunteers to push wheelchair users to special events, and a number of other really interesting tasks that we do. If anyone is interested, we're always looking for more volunteers if you think you would enjoy doing this work with the small houses or assisted living.
Thanks, Sarah. Betsy?
Hi, I'm Betsy Faga. I've been here for 2.5 years, and I've been on the Residence Council for almost 1 month. So it's new to me. My goal is to be a good listener and to, as the others, facilitate where I can. I am a member and liaison to the Welcome Committee, and Judy Bryan, our chairman, would not let me get by without saying, come be part of our committee too, because as you well know, welcoming new residents is so important.
Thank you, Betsy. Okay, John?
Hi, I'm John Ronbeau, and I've been here a little over 5.5 years, but I've known Goodwin House since 1995 when my mother came, and she was here for 13 years. Took good care of her and lived to be 98, so I'm glad to be here. I'm on the liaison to the Spiritual Life Committee and enjoy working with Bruce and and all of you who come to our services. And my role on the council is to try to help the council meet its roles. So Judy is a wonderful leader for us, and glad to be with you.
Thank you, John. I don't see Tom Suey. Tom is a member of the Resident Council. He may be in his 4th year, I believe. And he is chair and liaison to the marketing committee. We also have 2 ex officio members that it is the purview of the Resident Council chair to appoint. So I'm pleased to say that we have an ex officio member from assisted living who is Faye Woodrow. Faye's agreed to serve a 2nd year as well. And then Don Goodness, who's in the back of the room, is the representative from the small houses. Don, if you'd like to say something, raise your hand. No, guess not, but I think Faye's going to say something.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. I just wanted to tell you, I've been here 15 years, 15 wonderful years. I think I've been on every committee here because I've been on the council before. But anyway, I'm just privileged to try to do what I can on the 3rd floor. It's a wonderful place up there, and the help is wonderful too. But I just want to say my goal up there is to do all I can to make it as pleasant for all of us. And I get the information for them. They tell me what they want me to say, and then I bring it to the council. So thank you. So I'm inviting all of you to come visit us.
Thank you, Faye. Don, would you like to say something? Okay, good.
I represent the small houses by appointment from Barbarito. Jackie Barbarito appoints me, and that's why I've done it. I have been here for 14 years, and I have served this council only as she directs me.
Now, those of you that know Don know that's not entirely true, but we welcome his perspective as we do Faye's. All right, thank you very much, and please don't hesitate to contact any of us via email, phone, stop us in the hall, whatever. We're here for you. We represent you. We try to do what we think is best for you, but we don't know everything, so please keep the communication flowing. Thank you very much.
And I will say, Father Goodness also, you know, we have an agenda for the Small House Resident Council, and he keeps everyone on task. You said you're going to do this. Where are you with it? You said you're going to do that. He's great. He keeps all of us going. Next, we have Bill Sargent, and he's going to talk to you about the Successful Employee Appreciation Fund.
Interestingly enough, when we open, I don't do the money part of it this time. I have someone else to do that for me, so I don't see checks and so forth anymore. But we do get notes occasionally from people saying thank you to the staff and blah blah blah, you know. And there was one I got today that I thought I just had to read to you. Can you hear it all right? Okay. It ends. It says, I've tried to list services that I use, but I can't provide a tip for. Thank you. And listed up here is kitchen and meal service, bistro and mixing bowl, chapel Sundays, housekeeping 1 day a week, driving services, maintenance, clinic, the front desk, IT services, and the beauty parlor is the other one. But anyway, it was just interesting that this particular person had gone through the trouble of listing all these things that they felt about. We're doing real well. The deposit today had us at 440,287. So we're $60,000 short of our goal of $500,000. Which means, and we're only, what, 2/3 of the way through the month? We got another third. So it means we got another third of the way to collect $60,000. And what I'd like to see is that people continue to give at the same rate, and we go over the goal. You know, and that's okay too if we go over the goal, because every dollar we collect increases the amounts the gifts are. So no dollar is wasted just because we get over or we don't save them till next year. So just keep it coming. We have right now 70% approximately of the people that we're looking for donations. About 70% have donated. So there's about 30% left and several people said today when I was down there working, oh, they got to get their checks in. They got to get the check in. So I know there are people that haven't given them. So please do. Thank you very much. And celebrate, by the way.
Good afternoon. I'm Bruce, your chaplain. And a couple of things. Karine, why don't you come up here? This Sunday, Karine Adams, who is our chaplain intern, will be our preacher at both services. Come on. She's a student at Virginia Seminary, and she's doing what is now called contextual ministry. We called it field ed when I was a student. And she's been here for the fall semester. This Sunday is her last day with us for the fall semester, and she's preaching. And Jennifer, do you know if Channel 974 is working again? Not yet. So that means show up. Because you won't get it on your TV. 973 for here is working okay. You can come to 10:30 or watch that one on your TV. But otherwise, if you want to come to 9 o'clock, be there in the chapel because it won't show up on your TV. Sorry about that. We don't know what's wrong. It's the only one of our 5 in-house channels that's not working. But Karine will be there. And then she's going to return to us in February for the spring semester. She has been with us for 12 hours a week for the fall. She's going to have 24 hours a week in the spring. So you'll see her again, but it won't be for a while. So last chance this Sunday. Thank you. Yes. And coming up between now and next town hall, we have our Thanksgiving Day service. We have one service at 10 o'clock, which is not the same as our usual Thursday 11 o'clock service. So it's a different time. It's 10 o'clock. It's going to be only in the chapel. It's when we collect all of our knitting and crocheting that people have made through the year, hats, scarves, mittens, sweaters, afghans, whatever, that we dedicate to go to the carpenter's shelter. There'll be a table in the chapel by the end of the day on Wednesday. So if some of you can't make it on Thursday, you can bring your things early or arrange to have them dropped off for me, and we'll get them there. But we like to have them all displayed there in the chapel on Thanksgiving Day. The offering on Thanksgiving Day, if the check is not written to the chapel, people can still make their contributions to the chapel by writing Goodwin Living Foundation and the memo GHA Chapel. But other designated offerings will go to Alive. This has been our tradition. Before we had our October food drive, Thanksgiving Day was always a way to provide funds to Alive to buy food in bulk. We have our food collection box in the chapel all year round, and that used to go to Alive when they had a distribution and collection site right across the driveway at Church of the Resurrection before that building was torn down and replaced by the Spire and the smaller church. They could no longer be that distribution center, and it was moved. So the food that we go get in our box in the chapel goes to the Grace Church Food Bank. But on Thanksgiving, contributions will go to Alive, and you can write your check directly to Alive, and all of the cash offering that day will go there as well. Sunday after Thanksgiving is our first Sunday of Advent, and in Advent we have our angel tree, and we also usually have the St. Nicholas Mite Box offering, which runs from St. Nicholas Day, December 6th, until Epiphany, January 6th. And the Mite Box offering has gone to children in the Middle East. It goes through the American Friends of the Episcopal Diocese of Jerusalem and the Middle East, big name. AFEDJ is their abbreviation. And they serve people of all faiths throughout the Middle East area in 21 countries, I believe it is. It's a massive stretch that they have. This year, we're combining that offering. We won't be using that name and have the mite boxes. Instead, it's going to be part of our angel tree, because the angel tree offerings are designated for the Al Ali Arab Hospital in Gaza City. That is the only Christian hospital in Gaza, and they serve people of all faiths. They were down to 3 ICU beds. They've been bombed 5 times. The need there is extraordinary. You've seen pictures of what Gaza looks like, and it's been reported that 80% of the structures in Gaza are either destroyed or damaged. And so this hospital serves people of all faiths, all ages, so the children are included in that. And you can write your checks to AFEDJ. You'll see more about this. It'll be in the Gazette. It'll be in the chapel. It'll be in a number of places. But invite your contributions to that during our Advent time. And we put angels on the tree to represent the contributions as they come in. So each angel will represent another $25 that we've received. But you can give us anything. $5, $5,000, whatever you'd like. But the need is great, and we're very glad to be able to help in that case. There's so many places in need, but this is one that we felt would be appropriate for us at this time of year. And I think that's it for the moment. Oh, well, we'll have our Advent series, and we're looking to take a trip. Speaking of St. Nicholas, there's this amazing exhibit at the Virginia Theological Seminary. In their Welcome Center, there's a lower level, and half of that building underneath is a museum-quality exhibit of everything St. Nicholas from all over the world, and how St. Nicholas in our part of the world is sometimes known as Santa Claus, but how that tradition came to be, and their artifacts and artwork and stories, and it's beautifully displayed. The other half is creches, nativity scenes from all over the world, and we're planning to have a bus going on Tuesday, the 2nd of December, and you can sign up for that, and it's close enough that if we fill up the bus twice, it'll run twice. It'll be like a shuttle when you go voting. But it takes about an hour there just to be able to see part of it, I think. It's really a beautiful and many, many things to see. So invite that, and we have other programs going on during December as well. So watch your gazettes and watch other notices, and it's always on Uniguest too. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Okay, and we have Andrew. And last time Andrew spoke, you had multiple questions, and hopefully with his monthly detailed update, and then a little bit on the Hollerin', your questions will decrease. Let's hope.
Yes. Thank you, Barbara. Good afternoon. I'm hoping there will be 0 questions. Especially following all the amount of work that went into that last report. So my goal is to just give a brief highlight on some of the major infrastructural upgrades, improvements, mainly capital related, that we have planned, and some of which we've already started. Barbara already talked about the humidity. I just wanted to give you a synopsis of some of these items. Updates are also going to be in the December operational newsletter. The humidity for each tower, Tower B is tracking as planned. The equipment is installed. This week is actually the commissioning of that equipment. That's when it gets turned on, and make sure that there are no leaks in the piping, and everything that was installed is actually ready to go in full operation. And then Tower A also didn't have any new equipment, but we had to go back and repair a lot of the humidification system that was already in place, and that unit is actually about 2 to 3 years old, including the big air handling unit that was installed 3 years ago. So that's also tracking, and commissioning is also about a week or two away. The small houses is where we are running into a lot of challenges. With every, it's almost like we take 2 steps forward and then we got to take 1 more back, because we uncover a new, breed of issues. But it's nothing that we can't solve. We had the engineer here, Potomac Energy Group. He was here today. With the general contractor, mechanical contractor was also here today, and they went through all 9 humidifiers, and he was partly happy, but also very unhappy, and he's going to send me a report. And it just means we have more items to repair as we go along with this repair. But we've moved our initially targeted completion date for November 30 to the end of December. And that's still a little shaky here, but we're going to try and hold the needle to that date. So that's the humidity. The hot water systems, in answering Judy's question, I almost covered maybe 80% of that. So the other 20 is for the original building, Tower A. I know there's been, can I see by hand how many residents here are from the original building? Okay. How many of you will be happy to know that, when we have to, we don't have to shut the entire water system down? And how many of those notices you see so often that you're like, okay, another shutdown? Come on, Andrew. So we've been hearing your concerns, and we're trying to input that project into the 26 fiscal year to try and isolate all those risers or floors so we can shut down a designated portion, that will not affect everyone. So we're looking at those isolation valves. And also the improvement we are doing for the Tower B, we want to replicate the same mixing station for better temperature control and a better pressure as well for you. So that is, we're going through the design phase of that with a substantial completion target date of May 2026. Whilst we're on the original building, I might as well stay there and give you another update on some of the things that are happening. It's more behind the scenes. This is all in the main plant, which is in the basement. In there, we are also going to replace some 150 horsepower pumps. These are as big as this podium here. So those are due for replacements. And that's going to improve circulation and performance for the HVAC and the chillers and the heating systems. We are also improving the ventilation, which is currently very unreliable. So with the right ventilation, that means we have good combustion, and then the heaters are going to perform optimal. So there are several miscellaneous projects there, but all that plant replacement and improvement is targeted for September, October of 26. One other project that's sort of ties all of these infrastructure together is what we call the Building Automation System, the BAS. That is sort of the hub between all of these repairs and replacements and improvement we're doing, because that gives us visibility into the system through a remote computerized platform. In other words, I could be home, and if there's an issue, I get an alarm, I can log in from home, I will be able to identify what the problem is, and then direct the team in that fashion of what to do to resolve the problem. So it's a huge benefit to having a reliable BAS system. That's also targeted. It's going to be in phases. We've broken it down into 7 separate projects. The tower has maybe 2. There's also about 3 out of that 7 in the original building, and then the rest are also in the small houses. And this is going to pretty much tie everything in: the hot water, the plant repairs, the humidity. All these systems are going to communicate to the BAS system. So that's a substantial amount of work going into that too. So September, October of 26 is a target date for that. The garage, I wanted to just bring that up real quickly. There's been some leaks that's been reported to us, and we are aware of that. I was just down there this morning, and there's more puddles of water down there. So we are walking it daily. The team that's picking up the trash and maintaining the floor is also reporting all these leaks to us. With the project that my partner, John Cruz, was able to complete, I addressed about 90% of the leaks. As we move along, we're going to identify more areas where the, what's the name of that process that was used to mitigate the, so they technically identify a leaking area, and then an expansion chemical was a foam injection, that's the word. So it was an injection method used to mitigate the leaks. And it's not, in some areas we weren't able to get a better access in there to do the injection. So we're going to continue to monitor and mitigate these leaks as they come. Yeah, we're looking at over $3.5 million in infrastructure capital for 2026. So I want to say kudos and thanks to our finance team and leadership for really understanding the need we have and making the resources available to get this work done. All right, that's sort of a nutshell all I have. All right.
When the humidification goes live, could you send an e-blast to residents? I mean, I have a humidifier going in my apartment because my humidity got down to 19%, which is, as you know, way too low. And I would just like to know when I can expect the system to start giving me some humidity, if you don't mind.
Sure, that's a good question. We actually will plan to have a tour with the residents, those who will be interested. Once these systems are installed, we will have a parade or a tour to sort of debut and do a ribbon cutting and all that too. So, so we'll be sure to communicate that.
And what humidity level will you be aiming for in the apartments?
Yeah, the ASHRAE reports recommends anywhere from 45% to 50 in humidity. 35 is comfortable, but 45% is sort of what the minimum threshold should be.
And my last question is, do you have sterilization techniques for the humidifiers? I know mine in my apartment, you have to sterilize very regularly, and I'm just wondering what's done with commercial humidifiers.
That's actually a good question too. So with your sort of in-home ones, you have to, remove the bucket and empty it out and clean it. So with the commercial one, we've actually built in a a water filtration system, which is a self-maintaining, self-monitoring system that feeds the water to the humidifiers. And so the steam is generated on very purified water, which is zero maintenance almost.
And you don't have trouble with mold growth or anything like that in any part of it then?
No, not at all. Okay. Not at all. They are built with stainless steel piping instead of regular steel or PVC. And we really went for the top of the line in the design choice for this facility.
Good to hear.
Yep.
The FY26 budget has about $1 million for elevator upgrade. Could you just kind of give us a real brief description of what that entails? What's actually going to happen?
Okay. Good question, Carl. So for the elevators, I sort of left that out here, but you've sort of brought me back to that. I was hoping I could skip away from that. We have 9 elevators included in this capital year's modernization is the word. We are going to be phasing them out based on the location and, just to minimize the impact on resident use of the elevators. So we have a plan which I may be able to share it in my next newsletter in what phasing plan we have. So you would know we're doing elevator 1 here and 5 and then maybe 7 back there as a start. And then on the next, once we get to substantial completion, we will come back to 2, 5, and then 8. And so it's in that sequence, but we've staggered the elevators to make sure that we have at least 2 in operation in one bank. And where there are 2 elevators, you have 1 available for use whilst the other one goes on remodeling. So that's sort of what the plan is. The contract, I believe the contract is awarded, and we're working on start dates and mobilization at this moment. So all 9 elevators, we have targeted completion date, I think early 2027. Yeah. It is a replacement. That's a good question. So let me talk a little bit about the scope of work. It is a complete replacement, and that term modernization doesn't do a good job at describing what actually happens to it. But if you go into the mechanical room where the elevator control is, we have the main pump which runs the belt on the belt-driven ones and also on the traction systems. And what's happening is if you go in the control room, the entire it's almost like an electrical cabinet. The entire control system is going to go away. The newer one is going to replace electrical, and the mechanical portion of it is also going away. The interior of the cab is also going to get a facelift. The controls inside the cab, which is the telephone system, is going to be a newer communication bus, which actually meets the new EMS code for entrapment and things like that. So the only thing that's not getting replaced is the metal box, which is what you walk into and you walk out of. The doors system is going to be new. The door controls that sits on top of the cab is going to be new. The traction, the chain system, the suspension system is also going to be new. The motor, the pumps, the hydraulic systems, it's all going to be new. So it's a complete overhaul, if I would call it that. But we get in a brand new elevator, pretty much. You're welcome.
Can you give us an update on the garage door repairs?
You took me right back to what I was trying to skip. We have, you can, if as you drive by, you can see that the whole mechanism has been replaced. It's missing a cap, which is sort of is going to encapsulate everything into this. It's almost like a cover for it. Without the cover, we do not want to expose the motor and the whole mechanism for the weather and the rain. So that's on back order. They have expedited the no, I'm sorry, I take that back. Not back order. The one that was shipped with the equipment didn't have the right support bracket from the factory. So I guess someone was working late on a Friday night and forgot to package the right bracket to support it. So they had to send the cover back so they can ship a new one. But I asked the contractor to expedite that. That was on last Thursday. So I've reached out for an update yesterday and today, and he said, Andrew, I'm checking with the factory, I'll let you know. Whilst that's happening, it actually works in our favor because we also realize we're gonna go ahead and replace the new cabling for the access control system that registers your badge as you come in. So that work is also happening between now and when that they get the cover. So we'll be all squared away, maybe another week to week and a half, maybe 2, to be on the safe side. All right. Thank you very much.
Any other just general questions? Okay, then as we conclude, I just want to let you know that we have a celebrity bartender that started at 4 o'clock in the Fillmore, and it is our director of HR, Trish. So if you're interested, please stop by the Fillmore. We also have non-alcoholic beverages, so no excuse. Thank you.